and welcome to a brand new episode of Cantrip Breakers, where we once again delve into the dark world of Mournveil, a gothic homebrew setting full of ghouls, ghosts, witches, werewolves, and, of course, vampires. It's so good to be back. I'm in a slightly different location. I'm in old London town. But before we delve into our story, let's go around and meet the players. Arianna, would you like to go first?
Hi, I'm Arianna, and I'm scared for today's episode because last week. Wait. Let me go back first. Hi, I play the character Ayleen. She has been abandoned by her family and given to the monastery to train as a monk, and now she accidentally ran into her dad. However, she was 6 years old when her dad gave her away, so the dad does not know that this is Ayleen until now. Like the cliffhanger of last episode was her father saying, wait a minute. So I'm very nervous about that. I'm very excited about that. And I hope that I will not start crying like a little baby. Also, thank you very much for all the subs and biddies you guys just did. Thank you very much.
And Elina.
Yo, hello guys. New location is because I'm on cabin vacation, so I'm sitting in my cabin right now. So if anything happens in the background, I'm sorry for that. I have a dog that is kind of sometimes being wild. I'm playing as Ester, the wood elf ranger from the Heartland Forest, and she's gotten out. She's recently gotten out from the forest, being kicked out, and now she's developing a little bit the sense of self and hanging on to this special adventure. So, yeah.
And Glosske.
Yes, I am playing Hazel van Dam from the sea, who is a little halfling rogue child who got abandoned, she thinks, by her parents. She's never seen them again, and she's now on adventures and trying to make friends and trying to stay off of rum because she's a kid. She's not supposed to drink rum. But, you know, things happen.
She's not trying to stay away from rum, by the way. She's not trying.
That's trying.
And I am Ed. I embody all of the other characters that they meet in this story. I describe the world and the various chaotic encounters that they often find themselves in, usually of their own volition. But you will have noticed that in the middle of the screen, there is our Faith of the Gods bar. The Faith of the Gods bar is essentially a donation bar. And as you donate towards it, once it reaches its limit, you cause something to happen inside the game, something that has a very immediate effect on the players, their characters, and the story of the game itself. It is often unpredictable, both to them and to myself, and you have ably demonstrated it week in and week out, and we cannot thank you enough for it, even if my improv skills have been tested greatly by it. But I believe that's everything, so sit back, grab your oil lantern as we delve deeper than we ever have into the dark world of Mournveil in Chapter 8, The Wastelands. Waking from your unconscious state, now healed from the affliction of blue rot, Ayleen, you found Martin Bertillo questioning the others in regards to your identity, still none the wiser as to your familial connections. Assuaging him and turning your attentions to the black box you had uncovered underneath the waters of the Pallid Lake, you began to speak of the sword within it. Debating what should be done with the weapon, all of you, save Hazel, suddenly found yourselves afflicted with a terrible sensation, a desire to possess the sword and to dispatch of anyone else who came between you and your prize. Scrabbling over one another with terrible bloodlust, it took Hazel's quick thinking to break you out of your red rage, with no memory of what had transpired. Beginning to understand the sword's corrupting influence, you agreed that it must be destroyed, or at the very least, hidden. And taking the sword to the outskirts of Port Galagurst, you tried to smash it, break it against the rocks, but each attempt was met with an awful sensation of blood being drawn out of your pores. The sword could not be broken, but despite this, it seemed to calm. and so resolving to take it somewhere where its effects could not be felt by any around it, you agreed to take it to the Wastelands to the north, a place where few living things still walked, and you travelled back across the waters of the lake to the town of Renoras to meet with your latest employer, Mr. Dupont. And hearing your plan and agreeing to it, with the proviso that he would need to know of the burial site's location, so that he might conduct his own research into its origins, Mr. Dupont asked to talk alone with you, Esther. Asking after your home of the Heartland Forest, he revealed that he too had been cast out a long time ago, when he still bore the name Doometh Vale. And as you left, preparing to depart with the sword, you began to say your goodbyes to Martin. And after several pointed comments from you, Ayleen, he suddenly began to realize who you were. And as he stands there, and as the hustle and bustle of the town around you all continues, and Mank, next to all of you, looks fairly awkward as he looks in the direction of the tavern that you have been staying at. Ayleen, Hazel, Esther, you all watch as Martin in front of you all just stares at you, Ayleen. Did you come here in search of me?
No, that was an accident.
So, your friend Ayleen is in fact...
Me, yes.
I take it I'm not quite what you were hoping for.
I wasn't hoping for anything. If anything, I tried to push you out of my memories for as long as I can remember.
That is probably wise.
It's what I was supposed to do, but Phil does that too.
You've grown. I know that it's probably a obvious statement. But
It's been a few years. Yeah. So, surprise! Am I what you thought I would be?
your eyes are the same. Have you seen your mother?
I think so. I'm not sure. She hasn't seen me. But I'm not supposed to remember you. At the monastery, they teach you to forget.
But you have a purpose, and you have a future. That's more than you could have hoped for with us.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
I do.
I mean, you have a child now too, Arietta. She seems fine.
Circumstances now are very different to when we had you. We were living in squalor. We were poor.
The only difference that it was that you wanted the money and the monastery could give it to you. It had nothing to do with me.
At least the monastery was safe. That is all we cared for. And yes, we took
All
the gold.
we cared for, all you
But-
cared for was the money, and you
No,
know that.
we took the gold for you, and it bought our future, and it gave you a place of safety. And I'm sorry, but I can think of no parent that wouldn't make the same decision.
Excuse me. This is the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I understand if you are angry, but you don't get to come to me and pass judgment on things that you were too young to understand at the time. You don't. I'm sorry if it feels unfair, but we were in an impossible bind. It was either raise you in amongst nothing and risk all of us starving to death, or is to pass you over to people who could look after you and we could survive as well.
All right.
It was not easy, Ayleen. It was not easy, and it was harder for your mother. It was, but we did what we thought was right.
All right then. Then that's it.
You look like you have found.
Don't try to. No, don't.
I am glad that you are.
I don't care.
Well,
I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Well, hopefully this will make it easier for you to put me out of your mind.
Ester, Hazel, we're going.
Going where?
The Wastelands.
Now?
Yes. Now. Martin?
I wish you luck. I truly do, but I am sorry.
You know what's so funny? Out of all the things you could have done when you found out that I was your daughter, that you gave away at the age of 6, you decide to just try to convince me that you're not the bad guy? I find that really hard to understand. And don't get me wrong, like, I didn't expect you to come sobbing and hug me and be so grateful to see me again, but it seems all you care about right now is your reputation in my eyes. And honestly, that says so much. And I'm so wrong. I remember you so wrong. What I've been trying to push away for my entire life was 2 desperate parents having no choice. But instead, it's a selfish dad that chose the money over the struggle. And still, after all this time, you don't give a shit. And it shows. And I'm sorry, but I think we're done here.
All right. All right. Ester, Hazel, Mank. It was good to meet you all.
See you, Martin.
Martin just nods and walks away from you all, disappearing into the somewhat patchy crowds all around as he disappears into the depths of Renoras, leaving the four of you alone in the town square.
Ayleen, are you angry at your dad?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
I'm fine. I said I'm fine. Can we just
Okay.
do what we have to do?
All right. Adventure it is.
So, we have the cart, so I suggest that we make full use of that if we're on a long journey. If anyone wants to grab any food or anything like that, might be a good idea. Don't know how long we'll be.
Yeah, do we need food? What do you think?
Should maybe stack up on some, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, in that case, if there's anything anyone wants to buy, see everyone back at the Broken Wing in, shall we say, an hour.
Ali would nod, and then as soon as she nodded, she would like instantly walk away, like out of the group into the not everyone.
As Ayleen does so, Mank just looks after her and then to the two of you just says, "Do you reckon that's going to be a problem?"
She'll bounce back. I think.
She just needs some time
Yeah.
to cool off.
She's
Eileen's never troubled. She brings peace and light. I think she'll be back soon and we'll be alright.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going into the Wastelands, which means we need everyone on guard and alert. And if even one of us is distracted, that is going to cause a problem.
Have you guys been to the Wastelands before?
Never. What
No.
is there even?
Swamp, marshes.
Oh.
I want to buy a rope. Just in case we get stuck in the swamp.
Good idea.
And some water. In case
Well-
we get thirsty.
I'll see you all shortly. I'm gonna go to the blacksmith, maybe sharpen my daggers, but I'll see you at the Bat Swing in an hour. And with that, he just nods and heads off on his own.
Okay. Esther, we're going shopping?
Yeah, are we going after Ayleen? You think she's going shopping, or what do you think she's doing?
I don't know what she's doing. Blowing off steam.
Oh. Do you have any gold left?
Yeah.
I'm
I
not sure
have
how
a
much
lot
I
of
have.
gold. How much gold do you have?
I don't have a lot since I bought that, the wooden leg.
Oh, the wooden leg.
I still have it, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can sell the wooden leg here in town and get more money for it.
Ooh. Who do we sell it to then? Should we go up to someone?
I don't know. Can I look around and see if I can see an easy target?
Make an insight check as you look around the court.
22.
22. So looking around, you see that there aren't a lot of market stalls around the town square. And the ones that do exist are very, very dilapidated indeed. But behind one of them, you see a fairly elderly looking gentleman. He's wearing an eye patch over one of his eyes, unsurprisingly. And he has little tufts of white hair just coming out of his ears. And you can see that there are a couple of bits of very bristly hairs underneath a very, very prominent chin. And he's just stood behind. There's a number of various bric-a-brac that just sit around this particular stall. But yeah, he looks like he's probably not got his wits about him so much.
Okay. Esther, do you have skills in the sales department?
No, I've never sold anything ever in my life.
I've sold herbs before,
Okay.
but that's something different.
Maybe if we say like that it's a magic leg or something like that.
That it will turn into a real leg.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Okay. We could
What
try it
if
on
you
the-
cut off his leg and then I will sell him the leg because then he needs one?
You think he will buy it then from you? I think he will be mad with you.
No, if you cut it off
If I cut
and I will
it,
sell it to him.
but no, you're better at cutting things than me. I don't think. I don't think I dare to. You know, it just seems a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah, like a little risky, right?
Okay. Sir? Hey,
Yeah.
sir!
Yes, hello.
Hello. I'm Hazel.
Oh, hello, young lady. And how might I help you?
I have a wooden leg for sale. It's a lucky leg.
Esther
Are you
picks it up
interested?
and holds it like this.
You say lucky? What do you mean? Lucky.
If you hit or kick someone with the leg, the person will turn into gold.
Make a deception check for me, please. I'll say at advantage because you do have Esther behind you, just sort of like doing the whole.
Deception?
Yes, very, very definitely.
19.
19. He looks at you and just. Do you mind if I have a look at it very quickly?
Of course.
And he takes the leg in very, very shaky hands, and you see him pull up his eye patch, and he's just like looking at this leg, and yes, I definitely see the allure and the very distinct markings along its surface. How much are you looking for?
Oh, it's one of a kind. For you, because I like you so much, it's 200 gold.
200 gold?
That's a good price, sir.
I don't know where you think you are, young lady, but in this part of the world, there are not many people who carry that sort of gold around with them. The most I have on me in my stall is, my market float is 60 gold.
Okay,
60 gold, but you can make the money back once you turn people into gold.
Yes, but I have not much more than that. Venoras is a poor town, and I don't have a lot of money.
we can take the 60 gold. Do you have anything else valuable, do you think?
I have a couple of potions, as you can see. And he starts to rifle around for a couple of the items, and he have a healing potion, and I have this potion of invisibility. And he reaches down and brings out this small vial that seems to just have a perfectly transparent liquid in it. And at first glance, it's almost as though there's nothing in it at all, but the light of the grey sun above catches it ever so slightly. And I know a young child such as yourself probably would get a lot of use out of that.
I wanted more for it, but I think if you give us the potions and 50 gold, then we have a deal.
Done! And he takes the leg, the very, very definitely magic leg, and places it underneath the stall, and slowly counts out 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually pushes forward 50 gold, as well as a potion of greater healing and invisibility potion as well. And
Thank you so much.
Thank
not
you,
a problem.
sir.
I have a pleasure doing business with you. I collect all sorts of things. This will make a valuable addition to my collection.
Good luck with it.
Yeah, good luck, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let's get out of here, Esther.
Yeah, let's run. Hurry. We run.
And as you make your way away, Ayleen, as you are walking through the town, you see a familiar figure riding on a very ill and sickly looking horse. It is the captain of the guard of Renoris, Captain Byron, as he rides forward with a train of thin, sickly looking horses behind him. And you see a regiment of poorly dressed mourning guard, soldiers in stale purple robes and rusty armor. And in the center of this train, coming through the town itself, you see a carriage. It is dark and it is battered with paint peeling off its wooden surface. And inside it, you see an individual. An almost impossibly old, thin man. He wears a long, dark robe with a fur-lined collar so large it gives the impression almost that he is hunchbacked like a vulture, and his hairless head pokes out of this, his skin impossibly lined and wrinkled and covered in liver spots. And as he passes, and you see that as the cart makes its way through the town, people flock to it, rushing towards it, and you can see that he is cradling in one skeletal thin hand that is adorned with rusty rings, a chalice of wine. And as the citizens throng forward, many of them begging for food and some for gold, all pushed away by guards that accompany the carriage. And you can hear them crying out, "What news? What news from the abbey? Oh, what say the monks? What of food? Is there any food? Oh, what of gold?" And you can see that a number of the guards are pushing them away. And make way for Count Glomkin, as the train continues to make its way through, as the individual in the carriage doesn't even look at the individuals around, as the cart and the guards continue to pass on through before disappearing in the direction of Gloaming Manor. And as it passes through, everything calms once more, and the crowds begin to dissipate. As Ayleen, you watch as your friends over on the other side of the courtyard seem to be making their way and pocketing a number of items from a stall, and you can see an elderly man cradling the impy's prosthetic leg from the previous day. And you can see that Mank is off to one side near a blacksmith and is currently bartering for goods and services there. But are you doing anything as life in Renoris continues around you?
Well, yes and no. I'm not specifically doing anything, but, I was being pretty upset. And then I looked over at Hazel and Esther and them having the best time of their lives. And then I'm just smiling. I'm just smiling because I'm like, fuck my dad, right? I have a new family now. And then I'm just looking at them for a while until they maybe notice me or do something else.
Okay. So Hazel and Esther, as you're walking away with your newly fairly ill-gotten gains, you see Ayleen off to one side, just smiling in your direction in the center of the crowd.
Esther.
Yeah?
Here, take half of the money. Don't say anything to Ayleen.
Okay. Yep.
25 gold for you, 25 gold for me. Good deal, eh?
Nice.
I will keep the potions just in case.
Not even one for me?
Okay. You can get the invisibility potion.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank
you can hide just like me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Elina
And
looks
25
happy.
gold. Take it before she sees it.
Okay. She looks happy.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. Yeah. You think she's okay?
Yeah, she's back again.
She's back?
Yeah, she's back being happy again. It's good.
Look at Ayleen and wave.
Ayleen is like waving back and then making her way towards her as we meet our donation goal.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Nice. Good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hi.
Oh.
What do you have there?
What do you mean?
Nothing. We were looking around for a place to buy food, but we don't really know where to go.
Did you manage to buy some food with that food that you just sold?
No, we didn't sell anything.
Then why is that man over there holding your leg, Esther?
It's not my leg, it's an old dude's leg.
What did you guys do?
I gave it to him. He wanted it.
Yeah, it's not used to us anyways. Shall we go to the inn?
I think you should make a perception check. Deception check, I mean.
Who?
I'd say that's fair.
Well, both of you, because you're lying to me.
Okay. 13.
7.
Oh,
I know Hazel too well, man.
Esther is convincing enough. Hazel less so.
Hazel, is there something you want to say?
No.
Then what's that smile on your face?
I have no smile. I don't know what you mean. You were smiling. You have a smile on your face. Looks really pretty. I like your hair today. You're really pretty.
Let's buy some food.
yeah.
Good
Food
idea.
time. Food time.
So, I will say for just general food, and bearing in mind the food in this place is not great. A lot of the vegetables are withered and greying, and a lot of the bread is not much better. The people here subsist on very, very little, and that is evident from how thin and how emaciated many of them look. But you are eventually able to find a stall that probably has the best that you can hope for, and I will say that altogether this will put you back around 1 silver for a number of days' food. So feel free to split that up however you would like. But as you stand there, Mank approaches, and I think we should probably make a move sooner rather than later.
Why?
Count Glomkin is tolerant towards the Order of Dawn, but now that he is back in Minoras, if Captain Byron spotted you out and about, I don't know, we don't want to piss the wrong people off.
Wait, what's wrong with us?
Lord, or rather Count Glomkin, he tolerates the presence of the Order of the Dawn. Specifically, Elder Myrene. He's allowed her to stay here, but he's not happy about it.
Wait,
And-
I'm the problem?
Yes.
Why?
Don't know. But I know that Elder Myrene had to make quite a strong case for being allowed to stay in the town, but even she has limits. There are places that she cannot go in town, and there are places that, well, I think if Glomkin had his way, she probably wouldn't be here at all.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
So the more of you here, I think probably the worse.
All right. Well, I just got some food, so I would be ready to go.
Right. Well, I believe the stable boy, Angelo, probably has the cart ready, so we can head over whenever everyone's ready.
Yeah, just let's go.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's nice. Does he have Instagram?
Heading over in the direction and seeing Angelo, the stable hand, flicking through a number of square-shaped self-portraits on a notepad. He just pockets this and sort of guides you to your horses and cart, which are stood off to one side. And Mank just tips him and just says, "Don't spend it all at once." before jumping up on the cart and just starts to ready himself. What are the rest of you doing?
So, do we have one horse and a cart now?
So there are 4 horses in total, if I remember correctly, but 2 of them are hitched up to the cart, and 2 of them free.
In that case, I would get one of the solo horses and climb it. That's not what you do to a horse, is it? I don't know.
And Esther and Hazel, are you wanting to be on the cart, or are you wanting to take one of the horses?
I'll be on the cart. I'm tiny.
Should let them be together, actually. I would actually try to avoid that. I would be like, Mank, wanna join Hazel on the cart? Esther could take a horse.
Yeah, I'm not very good at driving cart horses anyways. They're kind of like, I like solo horses more.
Well, little one, how would you like to
Yay!
learn how to properly drive?
Can I sit on your lap?
No, you cannot.
Oh. Okay.
You can sit next to me, if you would like.
Can I hold your hand?
No, you cannot. And he sits up on top and starts to take the reins, and I will leave.
Okay. I'll hop on.
So, heading on out, past the Bat's Wing and through the square, you make your way towards the gates, and seeing a number of Morning Guard there, one of them, called Clanfer, just opens the gates and allows you out, moving through and over the dark, rickety bridge that stretches across the murky moat that surrounds the town. You head off. You head north. And you head deeper and deeper into the Wastelands. So, over the course of this journey, which is going to take you around a day of travel, I'm going to need you each to make 3 survival checks. There will be 3 stages to this journey. So, before we do our first survival check, is there anything that anyone wants to do? Any conversations that anyone wants to have on the way?
Well, DM, what kind
Yes.
of conversation could give you some inspiration? Is there any conversation that could lead to any inspiration?
Don't know. Let's see what happens.
All right. I don't know where to start. No, I got nothing. I guess I'll not be inspired after all. God damn
Okay.
it.
So,
Okay.
in that case, if everyone can make a survival check for me, please.
Just one? At first?
Each of you, just
20.
one.
But yo, both of you have
Not
not
20. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, girl.
I've got 14, but I'm distracted. You know, my dad's in my head.
Sure. In that case, you continue on, and as the sun continues to arc its way through the sky, you find that the land around you becomes boggier and marshier and murkier. The road that you are following disappears entirely until you are making your way across rough land. And navigating this is difficult, and it is hard, and you quickly learn that it is dangerous. You are, by all effects, having to avoid sinking deeper and deeper into the land around you, as you see that every so often, rocks and trees are sinking deeper and deeper into the land all around you. And occasionally, the land and the ground just bubbles around you as gases just explode into the air, creating this horrible misty steam that just coats the horizon. The trees have no leaves. They're twisted, and they look almost skeletal as they stand silhouetted around you. But you continue on.
Is
You
this
continue,
safe?
No. No, it is not. This used to be a good place. Long time ago, apparently, but that time is long past.
We're not gonna sink into the mud, are we?
Not if we keep moving.
This place smells.
It does. Try to avoid the bogs as and where you can. Heard of more than a few individuals disappearing underneath. And he looks back at the back of the cart, and as he does so, all of your attention is sort of moved towards the black box that sits in the back of the cart, rumbling. And the chains are still around it, affixed, but there is still that familiar thrum that comes from inside. A soft hum. That, as the morning has gone on, has begun to intensify as you ride.
Humming?
Mank,
Yeah. Hmm?
did you see that? It's
I
getting
did.
worse. I think we need to find an animal.
Yeah, this sword is acting up again.
Okay, well, anyone who wants to hunt, do so. I'm going to keep the cart going.
I'll go
Yeah,
out. I've got a horse. You too, Esther?
I think I have like a tracking proficiency thing, so sure.
We gotta keep on moving though. That's really important. We
Yeah.
can't stand still.
All right. In that case, Hazel and I will keep us on track, won't we?
Hazel, stay with Mank, okay?
Oh, wouldn't go anywhere.
No, but even if anything happens, stay with Mank, whatever happens, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, Esther and Ayleen, can you please make survival checks for me, please?
Okay,
17.
where's survival? Fine.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so as you ride forth, and Esther, you are finding this landscape quite difficult to traverse. You are used to the wilderness, you are used to trees, and you are used to undergrowth and thorny bushes, but this is different. This is outside your ken, and as you look around, it is almost like an alien landscape. But yourself, Ayleen, as you ride around, you see here and there a couple of skeletons dotted around the place. You can see that many of these seem to have been belched up by the land itself, and there's an assortment of different animals. You see fox skeletons, you see badgers, and you see hares. But as you ride, and as you scout around and come back to the cart and then back out again, you see just off in the distance a small animal. It looks like a baby wolf just off in the distance, and it appears to be almost subsumed by the bog around it. You can see that its back legs are currently sunken into the ground itself, and it's just off in the distance, echoing around.
I would approach it as quick as I could and honestly try to end his life as quick as possible.
No!
Yes! I'm afraid-
Wait, no! What are you doing?
Oh no,
Wait,
good. Wait, actually, no. Can you see me, Esther? Are you saying this for real or is this...
Yeah, I'm saying
Oh,
this
okay.
for real. Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I'm behind you. I'm just
Okay,
walking behind
all right. Okay, yeah, you're smart. You're right. I should wait, and I would like try to catch it instead.
So you approach it. If you can make, just make a general survival check for me, please.
Oh, a 6.
So you move towards it, and as you do so, you can see its eyes just look at you, and it starts to panic as it just and just scrabbles, and you can see that it is slowly sinking further. But as you reach forward, and as you just start to bring your hands to either side of it, Ester, from a distance, you notice something. A ripple in the ground. And almost as though the faith of the gods are not on your side, the ground in front of Ayleen slowly begins to just bubble as roots slowly come up, and you can see that they are wrapping around the tiny wolf cub as bits of undergrowth just slowly emerge from out of underneath the swamp, and in amongst these tree roots that are stretched around one another, you can see inside there are skeletons. Human, elven, wolf, fox, badger, squirrel, hare, all frozen in place and stretched out against one another as roots just stretch themselves around, as a large humanoid shape made of root and bone and branch and mud drips out as the wolf slowly and can everyone roll initiative for me, please?
Oh, God.
Wait, me too? I'm not there.
11.
You are on the cart, but yes, you as well. Let me just bring up the map for everyone.
12.
16.
So let me just make a note of everyone's initiative. Okay, so we have... we also have Mike, so let me roll for him. Okay, so... so we have... Let me just make a note. Okay, so the top of the round is the creature. Then it is Ester, then it is Hazel, then it is Ayleen, and then, bringing up the rear, it is Manx. So, the creature, as it slowly just starts to rise out of the swamp in front of you, Ayleen, you are just taken aback by the size of this creature as it just... and it is just going to swipe at you with a 26.
Oh, God. Was that a nat 20?
No, it was not.
Thank goodness.
And that is 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
God.
And it's going to attack again, this time with a 9, as you manage to duck the second one, as it just... And you can see, rather than blows, it is literally roots shooting out of this creature and towards you, as the first one hits you round the head, and the next one you just manage to sidestep. Ester, it is your turn, as you are still on your horse, and you can see your friend being attacked by this creature that has slowly come up out of the bogs all around you, steam coming off its surface. What are you doing?
I'm like, oh my God, Ayleen! Run! I will, I think, throw my my mark right away, since I only have, still have one. My, where the frick is it? Let's see if I can find it. Hunter's mark. Spells. There.
Okay.
On him. There. Should be able to just click on it. No, okay, I'm sorry. I have a list of
That's okay.
I have a laptop. Should have worked. No. Okay, no, it did not want to work.
That's okay.
Yeah, I cast
Well,
it.
either way, you're able to cast it as you just ride forward and just fling your hand out. And there is a strange aura that sort of, even amongst the steam and the mist that is coming off the creature, you can see that there is a strange glow about it. What else are you wanting to do on your turn?
I'll start shooting
Okay.
arrows at it right away.
I'm getting serious pizza envy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Number 1 was 16.
Yeah, that hits, so roll for damage.
And then an extra, I think it's an extra 1d6. Right. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's a Polish computer, so shit. Which one is the? Oh, here. Imagine having. Isn't it slash? Yeah, it is. Like this. There we go. Plus
There
6.
we go.
There we go.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so, yeah, and can you make any other attacks, or is it just the one?
I guess I can make another one too.
Yeah, lovely.
First, it's just one. There. Oh, 18. Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
yep, that hits.
Nice
Roll
roll.
for damage.
10. Oh, okay. And I guess that's another one as well. A double hit every time. Okay. Alright. Okay. Sure. Let's go.
Right. Okay, so as
Five.
you throw your hand out and cast Hunter's Mark, you bring your hand up into your quiver and just 1, 2, as these 2 arrows just across the marshes and just slam into the creature as it just and its vines seem to vibrate as it roars and it echoes all around as this tiny wolf cub still grasped in its vines just it is the end of your turn. Hazel, it's your go as you are still on the cart.
Oh no, not the wolf. I jump off the cart and I dash towards the creature.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me here.
Okay.
So keep an eye on the wolf.
Okay, so rushing forward and jumping off the cart, you see Mank reach out towards you and just, no, wait, as you jump down and running forward, you find yourself next to a sort of set of ruins that is almost sunk into the ground itself. There is stone and there is brick and there are vines creeping all around it. Are you doing anything else on your turn at all?
Nope.
Okay, lovely. So, Ayleen, it is your go as you see 2 arrows just fly past your hair, just whipping it into the air as it just into the creature in front of you. What are you doing?
I would grab the stick from behind my back and I would try to smash it against the monster.
Okay, roll to attack.
18.
That hits. Roll for damage.
6.
6, okay.
Doing it again. Other side of the stick this time. 10?
That misses, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
Okay. Are you doing anything else on your turn?
Well, so I wanted to do a stunning strike, which says when you hit hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 key point to make the target stun. But like, I missed my second one, so I guess that's not possible anymore.
So just read out the exact. Sorry, just.
When you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 key point to make the target stunned until the end of your next turn if it fails a con saving throw DC 13.
Yeah, I mean, I'd allow you to do that for the first attack that hit if you would like.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, retroactively.
Yeah, con saving throw DC 13.
So that's a That's a 15, unfortunately.
Oh.
As you just swing your quarterstaff once and then twice, and the second time the vines just move around and then close in on it, and you just have to tug it back as the creature just. Is there anything else you're doing on your turn at all?
Yes. I would look over my shoulder at Hazel and go like, go back to Mank.
Speaking of, as you say this, Mank is going to ride forward to there, and from his cart, he's going to throw 2 daggers in the direction of the creature. One misses, but one is a natural 20. So let's. It's still not great. Way to go, Mank. And lovely. Okay, so flinging 2 daggers, 1, 2, they just fly through the air, hitting the creature. But as it does so, and as it rumbles forward, and Hazel, as you look in the direction of where Hazel has pointed you back towards the cart, you see that underneath one of the wheels, and more vines are beginning to move upwards as you see more corpses just coming out of the ground, and another strangely humanoid shape that is giant, towering above all of you, just coming out of the ground once more as another one of these creatures slowly comes out of the surface. It is going to try and attack. It can't reach Mank, so it's going to come over here, and it is going to try and attack you, Hazel. So that will be 19 to hit.
Yep.
And that will be 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and it's going to try and attack you again. That is 16.
No.
No? Okay,
Yes.
so you sort of taken aback by the first one as it just and it hits you, and you slam back into the ruins that you're stood next to. You anticipate the next one, and you duck, your hair flying in the breeze, and you can hear Jerry on your shoulder just panicking as the large creature just slams round, crashing into some of the ruins that fly off in one direction. That is all it is going to do. The one in front of you, Ayleen, is going to try and attack you. So that's a 13.
Nope.
Nope. And that's a natural 20 for the second
please
one.
no!
So
oh my god, no!
that's
Oh no.
21 points of bludgeoning damage as it just brings both its rooty arms up in the sky and just slams them down, and you see your friend, the rest of you, just almost disappear into the mud for a moment as she is just covered and caked in just liquid dirt. As the arms move up, you see that she has not disappeared under the surface, but she is just slowly picking herself back up. That is
No,
all
she's
that
not.
they can do.
I'm dead.
Oh, really?
I died.
Your
What?
friend is unconscious on the ground.
What?
What?
Ester,
I only had 20.
What?
Because Hazel hit me the other day, so I was already half.
Oh, it's my fault all of a sudden. Okay.
So, in that case, Ester, it is your go as you see your friend disappear into the mud, and as the roots move up, she's just lying prone and unconscious in the ground. What
Oh.
are you doing, Ester?
Oh god. Yeah. No. Jesus, Esther gets like so nervous. Ah. Runs a bit closer, at least, to get a view of everyone better, and just keep shooting, cause yeah, I'm like, what
Okay,
the- Jesus.
roll to attack.
Where? There. Come on, hate it, yo.
That hits. Roll for damage.
1, 2,
Okay.
6. One. Wait. 1. And 1d6 for that one, so extra 2, and then one more turn. There, 12. I don't know.
That misses, unfortunately, as your first one hits the mark, and there is another as it just lumbers in place, and seeing you approaching on the horse just begins to just lumber forward. And you can see that Ayleen's horse is starting to pick itself off the ground and rush off in another direction entirely, running into the distance away from where this creature is. Esther, are you doing anything else in the turn at all?
No.
Okay, so Hazel, it is your go as you see your friend disappear into the mud, and you can see her horse riding off in one direction as the creature in front of you is just looming above you.
So there's 2 more horses, right?
So there were 2 pulling the cart, and there is the other that Esther is currently riding.
Okay. I cast sleep on the monster that's in front of me.
Okay. Do I need to make a saving for that?
Probably. The spell sends creatures into a magical slumber. Roll 5d8. The total is how many hit points the creature the spell can affect.
Okay.
Here we go.
Do it.
23.
23. Unfortunately, that's not enough hit points as you push your hand out towards it, and you can see the vines just slowly begin to droop a little bit towards the front as it just as another cry just echoes out into the marshes. Are you doing anything else?
Damn it! I want to communicate. Abandoned mission. Oh, but Ayleen is down. Okay, abandoned mission. Aster, Mank.
We should run. Like, I agree.
Take the horses.
Okay, so Ayleen, can you make a death saving throw for me, please?
How do I do that?
I'm not sure on Roll20, but if you roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
14.
That is a success.
Okay, so okay.
So basically you have to get 3 successes in a row. Well, not in a row, but you have to get 3 successes.
Before I get 3 unsuccesses.
So basically it's if you roll 3 fails or if you roll 3 successes determines whether you wake or whether
die.
you do not. So you've succeeded for now. And Mank, seeing Hazel shout out, is just going to nod, and he is going to ride forward. And he is going to attempt to scoop up Ayleen. With a natural 20.
Yes!
as he rides forward, he just leans down off the cart and grabbing Ayleen's wrist, just pulls her up. And there is as mud just cakes up as she is literally flung. And even Mank seems surprised at his own strength as he just pulls her up and up onto the cart as she just slumps over the black box on the back as it's just as she just lies in the back unconscious. That is all he is going to do. So it is the top of the round. It is the creature's turn. So this one is going to run forward and try and attack Mank on the cart. And misses as it just and as Mank steers the cart to one side and the horse out front just moves it off to one side, Mank just steers it round and the creature's arm just whistles over the top of his very, very bold and shiny pale head as he just ducks down Esther. No, sorry. There is still the other creature to go. So it's going to try and attack you, Hazel. That is a miss. And 18 for the second one.
That hits.
That hits. Okay, so that's 9 points of bludgeoning damage as it just brings its arm down and just slams it into you again, knocking you back a little bit as you just hold onto the ruins, as you just watch Mank run past you in the cart. Esther, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I think it's Esther. She is gonna try to run over to. Where's the wolf? If we're gonna try to get the wolf out before we.
So the wolf is in this one.
Oh, in him. Okay.
Yeah, just on one of the branches that is
Okay.
coming out.
I guess it's not a lot to do then. I'll hop up on the cart like that.
Well, bear in mind you're still riding your horse as well.
Oh, I am. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Horse on the cart.
That's fine. Yeah,
Cool.
Horse on the cart. Let's go. Nah, I'll just keep shooting then, I think.
Okay, so roll to attack.
Let's go. Choo-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Wait. Oh yeah, 20. There.
Mhm.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. This one is crazy.
No, it's fine.
And that is 11.
11,
plus-
I
lovely.
would copy it. Copy before you press enter.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy. Yeah, I'm gonna copy it. There. There. So that's 15 damage after my extra roll, and one more. And that was us 14. I'm not sure.
That just misses, unfortunately,
Fuck.
as
Okay.
the first arrow flies through the air and sticks into the creature as it just... And the second one, it goes wide as it continues to writhe. Are you doing anything else at all?
No, I'm just telling Hazel, get back on the cart right now.
Okay, so Hazel, it is your go as you hear these words echo across from the cart. What are you doing?
I look at the monster. I look at the cart. I look at the monster. I look at the cart. And I jump on the cart.
Okay, it will get an attack of opportunity if you run away from it. Is that
That's
okay?
fine. That is
Okay.
fine.
So that is 17 to hit.
Yes.
Oh, unlucky.
So that is 10 points of bludgeoning damage as you run away, and there is just one final on the back of your on your back as you rush forward, and you are sort of almost slammed towards the cart. Can you make an athletics check to see if you're able to jump on, or acrobatics, whichever you would rather?
11.
You jump forward, but as you do so and the creature slams into your back, you find yourself flung forward, and you're able to grab onto the cart, but your legs and your body are still very much being dragged behind it as mud is just slamming up into your face. It's just as the cart continues going. Ayleen, can you make another death saving throw for me, please?
14.
14.
No, yeah, another one. Ha!
Yay!
I'm alive almost.
You are not dying as you continue on, and Mank is just going to, with the rest of you on there, with the exception of you, Esther, is just going to ride and continue riding. The creature gets an attack of opportunity. That it misses as it just flies forward, and it just it is the cart has a lot of movement, so it is now off the map.
Bye.
But as it does so,
Esther.
and Esther, as you are just continuing to rein your horse and you see the cart riding off, both creatures just turn to look in your direction, and they're going to just move forward towards you. So, the The first one is going to try and attack you. There's two natural ones. The second is going to try and attack you. Oh my god! Another one.
Yay!
Too slippery.
And a 16 for the second.
Yeah, that hits. That's fine.
Okay, so that will be 7 points of bludgeoning damage as it just swings up towards you, and you just feel as these mass of writhing vines just swing around you. You duck, you weave, you see the wolf cub still up in the air, and as you see it, a vine just comes out of nowhere and just hits you round the jaw. It is going to smart and bruise later, but it is now your go. What would you like to do?
Is there a chance, any chance or whatever, for me to take the wolf, just grasp it while I'm
I'll say
close?
make a dexterity check for me.
Okay, let's hope. Let's hope something happens. Where the frick? There.
Oh.
Nah, 8.
You reach up, and as you do so, there is a as the vine just flies upwards, and you are still in between these two creatures. You have not been able to grab onto it. What are you doing?
Okay. Let me use this stupid invincibility potion. And I use that one.
It's invisibility rather than
invisibility. Yeah, exactly.
The only issue with that, just before you, I by all means use it, but once you have used it, your horse will still be visible.
Yeah. Horse. I don't care about. I'll jump up in the stupid.
Okay. So you, you take your invisibility potion. So that is all you can do for now. The rest of you continue on. Hazel, is there anything that you would like to do as you turn around and you see your friend just disappear out of existence on top of the horse? Is there anything that you would like to do? You're still dragging behind the cart.
Maybe like get onto the cart.
Okay, so if you can just make a general athletics check to get back up. 12. You pull yourself up, and as you do so, you can see the box just continuing to thrum, and lying over it, the unconscious form of Ayleen. Are you wanting to do anything else as it continues riding on?
Ayleen! I poke her cheek. Well?
So, Ayleen, can you make another death saving throw for me, please?
19, I'm alive!
As Hazel pokes and pokes and pokes, you just... as you just hear the sound of the cart once more, just echoing around you, as your vision blurrily comes back, and you just see this small halfling just, like, poking at your face.
Ayleen! Are you okay?
Hazel, where's Ester? What? Where's Ester?
I don't know where she is.
Mank, where's Ester?
She stayed behind. She's coming, I think. And then turning around and seeing only the horse there. Or maybe not. I don't know.
We have to go back.
She got eaten by the monsters.
What? She got what?
What
are we doing?
Scream for her. Ester?
Shh. We have to go back. Where's my horse?
It's about 10 minutes in that direction, and he nods in the direction of the swamps, and mist is in the distance. You can see no horse.
Did you see her get eaten by a horse? By the monster?
No,
I
it
didn't
just...
see anything.
We have to go back. I have to go back, and I would try to jump off the cart.
Okay, make a persuasion check for me to see if you can convince Mank of that.
Okay, but I'm already off the cart, so...
Yeah, no, that's absolutely
Hold your
fine.
arm. No, don't jump off the cart.
Wait, what?
Stupid
persuasion?
idea.
So, persuasion check for Mank, and then
11.
if Hazel is holding you back, can you both of you make opposing strength checks for me?
5, I'm very weak.
6! Ow,
I will say, with 2 such low rolls, as you jump off, and Hazel, as you hold on as well, you both just tug at one another until you both find yourself toppling over the side and just off the back of the car. A Mank, just hearing you both just into the mud, he just turns around and goes, "Oh, God's sake!" and just starts to steer the car around. I will put you both back on the map.
How much health do I have?
You have 1. You have 1 health.
Okay.
Oh no! I want to give you my healing potion.
Oh, smart. I have 4 of them myself.
Okay, never
get to
mind.
that,
That's fancy.
we will get to that next turn, as Mank is going to... I've got rid of the cart, so I will literally just bring him just on. So, bear with me very quickly. Mank, there's Mank. So, Mank is going to bring the cart back round to around there. As he turns round, one of the wheels just crashes into the ruins, and he just, God damn it! And he is going to throw some knives in the direction of the one that's looking a little the worse for wear. One of them hits, so that will be 7 points of damage to that one. So it is now the creature's turns. They are, if they're capable of confusion, they are confused at your sudden disappearance, Esther. And one of them is going to try and attack at disadvantage because you are invisible.
Yeah.
Good thing too, because one of those was a natural 20, so that misses.
Yeah.
One of them, however, does not. That is 24 to hit. And that is 8 points of bludgeoning damage, as even in your invisible state, there is a and you feel just this vine just hit you in the side of your abdomen, and you just and as the wind briefly exits your mouth. The other creature's going to try and attack. That misses. That misses. Yeah, the second one just completely misses, as they just seem to be swarming around empty space on top of the horse. It is now your turn, Esther. What are you doing?
Can I move around maybe freely now, since they don't see me a little bit?
Yes,
or...
you can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I can just hop behind him instead, like this, and I assume try to rip the wolf out of his.
Okay, so if you can make a strength or a dexterity check, whichever you'd rather.
I think dexterity is better for me. Honestly. Men vad är det här? Nej, wait, that's a save. That's the wrong one. Saved. I saved myself. Wait.
How did you roll 2 nat ones?
There, 23. Let's go.
Wow.
Nat 20.
Let's
So-
go.
You reach up, and I will say, because it's a nat 20, as you reach up and grab the wolf, you manage to pull it loose, and a little bit of the creature just comes off with it, and that will cause... it's not much, it's 3 points of damage, but it's better than nothing, as a bit of it just comes off, and it just... And in your hands, your very invisible hands, you just hear this... As you just grab it. Is that everything you're doing on your turn, or are you doing anything else?
Do I have an attack left?
I will say probably not, because it was a whole action to do that. So unfortunately not. No.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just be like, okay, calm down.
Okay. Hazel, it is your go. What would you like to do?
Oh.
We now see like a dog just flying in the air, right?
You can just sort of like very panickedly, sort of legs just like moving through the air, almost as though it's swimming in midair. As it just. But Hazel, what are you doing?
Walk next to Mank.
Mm-hmm.
They must have a weak spot. Can I try to shoot a fire arrow?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
8.
8 misses, unfortunately. Do you have another attack?
No, that was my short bow.
Okay. So you fire out an arrow, and it just whistles over the top of one of the creatures as it just and looks in your direction, and you can see a number of skulls inside the vines just lolling in your direction, just as it just moves around, its large hulking mass dripping with swamp water. Are you doing anything else at all on your turn?
I look at Mank and be like, I don't know.
Mank just, he looks unimpressed as he sits there on the cart. Just should have been a simple job. So, Ayleen, it is your go. What would you like to do?
Call out for Esther. Esther!
Okay.
Esther
as
waves the wolf.
There is a,
Ayleen is not. Ayleen does not know that Esther has an invisibility potion, so I think that just confuses me. Yeah, no, I don't think I realized it.
Mank is going to make an intelligence check to see if he figures out what's going on. Okay, that's 17. So as he looks across at the wolf that's just up and down in midair, he's just going to and he's going to turn the cart, and he's going to he is going to hold. Oh, no, I can't really do this. He is going to drive the cart in between all 3 of you, just there, and he is going to shout, "Whether you are visible or invisible, get on the fucking cart!" as he just rides forward, and that's all he's going to do. Actually, no, he's going to throw 2 daggers in the direction of one of the creatures. One of them misses with a natural 1. That one hits, so that will be 5 points of piercing damage. Okay, so top of the round, it is.
Wait! I haven't had my turn yet. Or was I only?
Oh, sorry. I thought you shouting out was. Sorry, you.
It was part of it, but.
Okay, sorry. Do the other thing. Do the other thing.
Well, like now or before you did that then?
Before. I'll move back.
Oh shit. Well, if it was after, I would have done something smart. However, I'm looking for my friend, so I'm getting closer.
Okay. Well, either way, Mank still drives up next to you, so he is near to all of you, and the back of the cart is definitively next to you, Ayleen.
Okay, good.
So it is now the monster's turns.
See, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that is furthest away, seeing as the horse is right next to it, it's going to attack the horse.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So
horse.
both of those hit, and one is a natural 20.
Oh, poor horsey.
Goodbye, horse.
As an avalanche of vines and roots and bone, just as the horse looks up at the sky and just there is just a as it crashes down, and you see the horse just slowly enveloped into the creature, and you can see its legs just a break as it just disappears into this mass of muddy undergrowth as it just disappears inside. The other one is going to... You are closest to it, Ayleen. It is going to attack you.
That was not smart. That was so dumb.
They both miss. Both of those attacks miss.
My God.
As they just whistle over you, as you just moving forward and channeling as much ki as possible and trying to connect with the unsteady ground. You just dodge to one side as your hair just whips to either side. That is all they can do. So Esther, it is your turn as you hold this wolf cub in your hand. What are you doing?
I jump on Mank's car. Just instantly. Run up.
Cool. So if you can make an athletics check
Yeah.
or acrobatics, whatever you would like.
Yeah, whatever. Let's see.
I'm gonna add a cart so that we can all see.
This is
Where
better.
we're at.
Oh, 8. Okay. Yeah.
So you scramble on, and it's a bit hard going, and you don't find yourself like directly in the cart, but you are certainly hanging off the edge. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
Can I still shoot?
Yeah, I'll say yeah. You can.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try. Let's get a shot in on the weak stupid thing. Yeah, 20. Let's go.
20. That hits. Roll for damage.
7 plus. He's still got the mark, so
Mm-hmm.
1d6 on that one. So yeah, that's 13. No, 12.
As you fire an arrow out, it lands, and you can see that as it hits the center, bits of root are beginning to literally slough off it, fall into the ground, and you can see that it is barely held together at this point. Would you like to make another attack?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Always. 22. Oh, I've been lucky this time. With 10.
As this arrow flies into the center and literally through the other one that is already landed, splitting it in half, there is a and it all just explodes out with bits of root and vine and stone and mud flying in all directions as bits just into the marsh all around before just disappearing down into the swamp. Are you doing anything else on your turn?
Ayleen, get on the car. What are you doing? Are you insane?
And the little wolf cub is, you have managed to throw into the back of the cart, and you can see that it's as it just runs around in the back. Hazel, it is your turn. What are you doing?
Of course, I'll try to hop on the cart.
Okay, acrobatics or athletics, whichever you would like.
Acrobatics 17.
You leap on, and as you do so, landing on the back of the cart, you see the small grey-haired wolf just turn around to you and just back into a corner, seeing this new figure jump on. Just. Are you doing anything else at all?
I jump on it.
No!
I grab it like, puppy.
Hazel!
No.
Be nice.
I squeeze it.
Make
Be
an
nice,
animal
Hazel.
handling check for me.
Animal handling?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
12.
It sort of like scrambles against you a little bit, but as you just wrap your arms around it, and it just sort of begins to sort of wrestle with you a little bit, it does begin to calm ever so slightly, and you can hear its very, very quick heartbeat underneath its rapidly breathing chest. Ayleen, it is your go. What would you like to do?
I'm jumping on the car with a 9.
You leap up, and similar to Esther, you jump on and you end up on the same side as Esther, and the cart just ever so slightly begins to sink into the ground as you are both just holding onto the side. And turning around, Mank sees two of you just hanging off the edge, and Hazel in the back holding this little wolf puppy, and just goes, right, good enough, and just slams on the reins as the cart and the two horses in front just pulls away out of the swamp and into the mists beyond, leaving the creature behind you. And as it disappears into the mists, you just hear one final just echoing out as you disappear into the mists. And Mank turns round. All of that for a fucking wolf puppy.
I don't know. I felt so strongly connected to it. I just had to pick. Okay. I'm sorry.
Where are you? Can't actually see.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm sitting here. Okay. Yeah.
Just reaches back and like tries to find you with a hand.
Yeah, I touches his hand. I take it.
Oh no.
Hello.
I didn't know you could do that.
No, it was a potion I got from the dude, the old man.
Oh, the potion.
We saw we
Someone
Yeah.
long ago.
yeah. I had a potion. Okay.
So can someone fill me in on what happened? Because all of a sudden there was this monster and it hit me, and then I was in the cart and we were missing Esther. What happened?
No, I don't know. We're in a swamp. There are swamp monsters here. I knew it.
That was not a good idea to jump off. Not at all.
We had
Well,
to.
we're down 2 horses, which is not ideal.
That's okay. Okay. Can I
We're alive.
can I hold the puppy?
No,
Why
it's
not?
my puppy.
What? I was the one who saved him.
I was the one who cuddled him first.
Try not to bond with the puppy, guys. We're going to sacrifice it.
What? No, we're not.
That's why we're hunting in the first place.
No.
Yes, the sword needs
Get
to...
away, Ayleen.
Go where? The cart isn't that big.
Yeah, don't go off the cart. But stand in that corner over there.
I'm not going to stand up. I'm like... in the meantime, I was like in the cart. I'm no longer hanging on the cart.
Yeah.
By the way.
Mank appreciates this as the weight of the cart slowly begins to righten itself, as there's
Yeah.
no longer 2 people hanging off the side.
Since I have 1 health, I will be laying down in the cart at this point.
Yes, you lay down.
Still gonna sacrifice the puppy.
No,
No.
we won't. Listen, we won't.
Coochie, coochie, coochie.
Please, can I hold him?
Okay.
He's so nice.
Give him to Esther.
There's this strange sight as Hazel just passes along this puppy, and it just seems to stop in midair and just hang there for a little bit. It should be noted, Esther, the potion of invisibility lasts for an hour, so you're going to be invisible for quite some time, as this puppy just hovers in midair, just sort of waving its feet around a little bit, its tiny little paws just swimming in midair as it just...
I pet him very nicely.
Make an animal handling check.
18, so and try to calm him down.
We lost someone.
We lost Hazel.
I know.
Oh,
Wait.
oh, okay.
Bye.
Well, as you hold the puppy and you sort of care for it, it's sort of like, despite the very strange situation it finds itself in, you bring its feet down so it is now resting on your legs as you sit there. And as it finds something to stand and sit on, it slowly just nuzzles down in this strange in-between of the cart, mid-air, and where your knees are. And it just sort of begins to just look around it. And as it brings its face down, it sort of bumps on the surface of your hand, and you just feel as it slowly just starts to lick your invisible hand in front of you.
I pet. Esther pets him. His name is Dog. This is
Dog, the newly christened dog, just looks up and around and just...
And we're not sacrificing this guy.
We are so going to sacrifice the guy.
No, not Dog.
It is so weird to see you with the dog. Or not see you with the dog, more like it.
Yeah. I guess I'm back soon. I don't know how long these potions hold, but
Usually about an hour, I'd say.
it was really cool because the monsters became really they were so like, I don't know, when I disappeared the monsters were like "Ooh." So I ran away straight away, and then unfortunately they took the horse.
Yes, which is not ideal, frankly.
It's okay as long as we're all alive.
Yeah.
How am I alive? How did I end up in a cart? Because I don't remember.
I pulled you up out of the mud after you got knocked down.
You? Did... Wow.
Well,
surprised?
you are one of the most competent hand-to-hand fighters that we have, so it wouldn't make sense to leave you behind.
He's gotten very nice lately. I don't know what's happening with him.
I'm surprised, Mank. Thank you. That was very nice.
It was practical.
No, but I owe you my life. Thank you.
You are welcome.
And thank you for keeping Hazel safe, of course.
I don't think she needs my help to do that.
True.
Even if she does insist on getting into trouble at every conceivable opportunity.
Do you know where we are?
We are traveling north, which means soon most of this land will be almost impossible to traverse. Which means we may well have to ditch the cart at some point.
Is there any way we could rest? I feel beaten.
Let's see if we can find some more solid land. And then, maybe, we can find some cover. We have some tarpaulin in the back. We can make some rudimentary tents. And just hope that there are no further surprises.
We have a dog now. Or a wolf, I think it is. So
He's a wolf, yeah.
It's also a puppy, so...
it doesn't change anything.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant we had something to protect us. No, we can absolutely sacrifice
No,
it.
yeah,
So
it's
stop
not-
choosing.
No!
Esther, we are going to... we have to.
No!
It's either the puppy or us. Because you remember what happened last time?
I can give him my blood. Like,
We're not gonna give
literally.
it your blood.
I'm not hurting him.
We're not...
I'm not hurting dog.
Well, you don't have to do it. I can do it for you.
No! You're not hurting
We
dog.
literally almost died.
We can find something else, I'm sure. We can't.
I'm not risking this again. We almost died trying to get to this dog.
No, we won't take dog. We're not taking dog.
I'm gonna like look at Mank and just go like... give him the kind of a look like, yeah, we'll see. But without saying anything.
Mank just nods silently, and the cart continues. So, as you continue on, can all of you make a second survival check for me, please?
Except for Hazel, because she disconnected.
Yeah.
I think her computer might have died. I rolled a
18.
18.
15.
So, you continue riding along. And despite the fact that not too much of the day has passed, Ayleen, you are hurt and you are weary. And as you continue on throughout the day and as it begins to become darker, Mank begins to slow the cart and you navigate your way through the slightly murkier and muddier portions of the swampland around, before eventually you find a small rocky outcrop. And coming to it, Mank pulls the cart to and takes in the sort of small island of rock that there is jutting out of the wet land around it. And on top of this, roots burying all around the outside of these particular rocks. You see a rotted tree just curving round over the top of this particular island of stone. And he says, "This is probably as good a place as any.
It'll do.
I suggest that we rest up here for the night."
All right. Do you want to take the first shift, or?
I suppose so. It does mean delaying our journey, but
I need some
Yeah.
food and I need some
Yeah.
rest.
Ayleen
I'm
needs
not
to
okay.
rest.
and looks like Hazel. And you look across and you can see that Hazel is just asleep on one side of the cart. He just probably a bit took it out as well.
I would just like a look at Hazel lovingly, like almost motherly, like getting a little bit distracted just looking at her.
Right, well, Esther, if you want to make up a tent for Hazel, Ayleen, maybe.
Oh, we brought tents?
Well, we've got some tarpaulin in the back. You should be able to make something simple.
Okay.
Ayleen, before you rest, if I could have a word.
Yeah. Sure. Do you need me to go up the cart?
No, we'll chat here.
Okay.
Esther, just give a shout if you need anything, all right?
Okay. Esther starts working with the tent, I guess.
As you do this, and at this stage, your invisibility has worn off. And as you jump off the cart and begin to start setting up camp, you see that dog has just sort of, as you jump off the edge, he sort of comes to the edge of the cart to follow and then just does that thing where he sort of like paces back and forward on the edge, like it's a little too high for him as he just...
Oh, come on, dog. You can do it. Jump.
I'm going to make an athletics check. As he jumps down and sort of lands on his side before like rolling over onto his back and his tongue just lolling out of his snout, just
Nice.
and leaps to his feet and just starts following you around, just trotting after you and sort of looking with great interest at the tents that you are setting up. And as you see this, Ayleen, still very much wounded and very tired, Mank just looks at you and, you know, we're going to have a hard time keeping the sword in check if every single animal that we come across becomes a pet.
This one is not gonna become a pet, don't worry.
Tell that to them.
I won't have to. This is something I'm just gonna do. This is not a democracy.
You are more cold-hearted than I perhaps initially gave you credit for.
What do you mean cold-hearted? I'm not.
Anything for the mission, right?
That doesn't make me cold-hearted, does it? Does it?
Means you don't care what people think.
I do care what people think. I just don't want us to die. Why are you laughing? It's not funny.
No, of course not. Looks like your young friend is waking up. And as you look across, you can see that Hazel is slowly opening her eyes to one side. She just stretches up, and you see that Jerry is also jumping down onto the cart and is looking with slight fear towards the small wolf that is running around Esther's legs as she starts to make up the tents in the distance.
Hey, hello. What did I miss? Is the wolf still alive? Where is he? Are you okay?
His name is Dog.
His name is Dog?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? It's not a dog.
He's Dog.
It's a wolf.
Yeah, well, I thought it sounded nice for him, so he's Dog now.
Esther, you do know the difference between a dog and a wolf, right?
Yeah, I just thought it would fit him.
You want him to be a dog.
No, he's just. I thought it just felt nice.
Felt nice?
Yeah, it fit him.
Can I pet him?
Yeah.
So, Hazel, if you can make another animal handling check for me as you jump off the cart and in the direction of Dog, you reach out and there is a... as he just scuttles back a little bit and behind your legs, Esther, just...
Dog.
Hello?
Calm down, Dog.
I cuddled you.
No.
Remember? Stupid dog.
Oh.
And Jerry just comes up onto your shoulder and just...
Yeah, right. Jerry, let's beat him up.
No, guys. Dog, be nice. They're nice, okay? Yeah.
He looks cute, at least. You think he can fight?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he can. We can teach him.
Ayleen would at this point just open the box with sword. Because she realizes this needs to be happening sooner than she thought.
You open up the black box on the back of the cart. And as you do so, there is a soft thrum in the air. And you see, wrapped in white linen, the red-bladed sword, its black hilt almost calling out to you. And as you think of what you must do to sate its blade, very briefly you feel just a soft scrape across your skull. It agrees with you. Not so much as to compel you, but it wants the same thing that you want. You feel that. It wants blood.
I would grab it with the linen around it still. Like I would use the linen to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
And sneakily make my way to Esther. To the dog, not to Esther, but like to the wolf behind her.
No, it's not sneaky. You can't sneak.
Yeah,
Make a stealth check for me.
Hold on.
Please. As Ayleen moves forward, Ayleen, you step off the cart, and the sword is heavier than many weapons that you have held before. It is large, and it is meant for someone to wield with two hands. And as you step off the cart, still very, very weak from your earlier encounter, you stumble slightly and fall to the ground, and the sword, equally with a dull thunk, just hits the stone beneath your ground. And both Esther and Hazel, you both turn around and see Ayleen there, holding the sword in one hand.
Eddie, what are you doing?
We have to defeat the sword. We have to do this.
But do it
No,
yourself.
we don't.
I am doing it myself.
No,
Move aside.
you don't.
Esther,
You're not.
move aside.
No,
Not the
you're
puppy.
not. You're not touching dog.
We don't
You're
look over my
not.
shoulder at Mank.
Mank is just watching.
I
And
tackle Ayleen.
What?
Make-
Careful, I'm holding a sword!
I don't
Make-
Go,
care.
Hazel. You go, Hazel.
make an attack roll for me, please.
Like,
Hey, I have
Like
one
what?
health! I have one health!
It's not so smart to attack. It's a sword, huh?
You're
this is what
killing
attack you. How do you do that?
So just an unarmed strike. So if you just roll a straight d20 and add your strength to that. I'm not sure how you do it in roll 20, but
Straight do d20 and my modifier.
mm-hmm.
It's already hits. It's fine, it already hits.
Oh, it's 18.
So being an unarmed strike, it only deals 1 damage,
I'm
and
still
that's
dead.
all that's needed. As Hazel just rushes forward and slamming into you, Ayleen, you just buckle backwards and your head just slams into the cart and you just go black. Because we're not in combat, there's no death saves or anything,
Oh.
but you are just lying unconscious on the ground. And Mank just comes over and jumping off the cart, reaches down very, very carefully and picks up the sword and
Wow,
places
the
it
sword! Not even me!
and places it in the black box, and closing it just
Put it
This
back.
is
Don't
between...
touch it.
Do we need to feed it still? I could maybe just like if it's needed, I could like just put a little in my hand and maybe he wants drink.
Is
or...
nobody freaking out that Ayleen is unconscious on the floor?
No, it's your fault, Ayleen.
Anyone gonna check up on me?
It's your fault, Ayleen, for doing this.
Mank just turns to you all and just goes, look, this is your problem. I will be over there having some rum. And with that, he heads off towards the top of the rocky outcropping and just sits beneath the withered tree at its top and starts to drink of the rum that is in his satchel.
Yeah, I already set up the tent so we could just... yeah. Esther goes up and tries to lift up Ayleen.
So I'll say you managed that without much difficulty as you just reach down, scooping up your very, very unconscious and very hurt friend off the ground and move her in the direction of where you've set up the tent.
Can I put an extra lock on the box?
Yeah, I'd say so. So make a do a sleight of hand check for me, please.
23.
Oh my
23.
Lord.
You, with your knowledge of locks and specifically unlocking them, you are able to obfuscate any attempts to open it again as you just create an even tighter sort of and firmer grip with the chains as the padlock is interlocked with another of your fashioning, just holding it together in place. It is going to be much, much more difficult to open.
Good.
Yeah, Esther puts Ayleen down in the tent. Yep.
Wait, is Ayleen unconscious or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you hit me
Oh.
cold.
Oopsie.
It was kind of over the top. So.
I also take a sip of my rum, just like Mank.
So, we head off again in the morning?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, I will take first watch. You lot get some sleep. Try and keep that wolf out of harm's way, if you can.
Of course. I'll keep track of him, don't worry.
Okay. Get some rest. And hopefully Ayleen will be on top form by the time we wake in the morning. And then you can resolve this whole little blood thing then.
It's already resolved, okay? We settled it. Right, Hazel?
We will.
All right. If you say so.
Yeah.
And with that, he just settles down and bringing his black cloak around his shoulders, the air gets chillier around you. And he just hunkers down and brings his knees up to his chest. As the rest of you, are you doing anything before you go to sleep?
Gee, I would love to.
Esther is whipping up some bacon for dog.
He just sort of, as he's walking around you, just starts to pull apart the bacon and just after a couple of minutes of this just begins to sit fairly obediently in front of you, his comparatively large tail just moving and wagging back and forth as he just but
Maybe he can help us hunt.
Yeah, maybe it's good. I could try to teach him some stuff. Maybe he knows already. I'm not sure.
Can you give a paw? And I reach out my hand. Paw?
you know what I'm going to ask for.
Paw?
Another animal handling check, please.
20!
Yay!
Sort of looks at your hand for a moment and then just Just
Good
this
job.
soft paw just lands, and seeing your enthusiasm and your joy, he just
Yeah, Esther feeds bacon to Encord.
Good boy, good boy. I like dog after all.
He's a cool fella.
Is it a wolf or is it a fox?
He's a wolf. He's
Wolf. Is he
Hopefully.
gray?
yeah. I guess he was great, right?
yeah, he's small and grey, and he's got little white flecks down his chest, and you can see that the tips of his ears are ever so slightly black as he just sort of sits there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what type of wolf he is though, but
He would have been dead if you didn't save him. I think he's very thankful.
I had to. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what. I just set my mind to it, and I just did it. You know, I had to. I saw him, and I had to. You know,
I'm happy that you did. He's really cute.
he's super cute.
I thought he was gonna die.
Me too. I didn't know.
I can't believe you thought about using that invisibility potion. That was really smart of you.
I don't know. Yeah. If you didn't give it to me, I don't think I would have gotten out of that alive. Honestly.
We
That
should
was-
sell more stuff to old people. We should be like bigger scammers so we can get
Oh,
cooler items so we can save ourselves.
Oh, let's sell a rock next time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do we see rocks on the floor?
Looking around, you can see there are a couple of stones littering the ground all around you. Yeah,
Did I just hang over the cart and just scoop some up?
yeah, sure, absolutely.
Pick him
So
up. Special swamp rocks
Oh yeah, that's so smart. Yeah, we sell them.
taken out of the belly of the swamp beast.
Yeah, makes sense.
One of a kind.
That's so smart.
20 gold apiece.
Mm-hmm. More, even if we say they.
More?
Yeah, if we say they have like some special superpower.
Superpower.
Yeah,
I like
Like-
your idea.
yeah.
I put him into my bag of holding.
So, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to do before going to sleep, the only other question to be asked is who is taking second watch and who is taking third watch.
I have a question about how I'm waking up later. Like, how many will I be full health?
You will be, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, I guess with Ayleen, you can wake in time to take the third watch if you would like, or you can just rest all through the night. It's entirely up to you.
Well, depends a little bit on who is the second watch.
So, Hazel and Esther, out of the two of you, do you have any preferences at all?
I just need to meditate a little bit. I don't need to rest a long time, so
Okay.
I'm fine.
I can take the first,
Yeah, sure.
Mank was taking the first.
the
Oh.
second.
Yeah.
Okay,
take
if
the
you
third.
are the second, who are you waking up? Me or Esther?
Esther.
Yeah.
Then
I'll
I'm,
I'm
then
scared of you.
Then I swim.
So, as everyone falls asleep, and as Ayleen, you fall into a deep, deep unconscious state, slowly recovering your health over the course of this long night. Eventually, Hazel, you feel a soft push at your shoulder, and waking, you see Mank above you, his pale face in the dark sky above, and he just goes, "Right, your turn."
Keep staring at him. What's the color of his eyes?
Very dark grey.
Dark gray.
Hmm.
Oh. Pretty. Okay. I'll take the next watch.
If you see anything, shout.
Wait, am I gonna be alone?
We'll be here, but yes, while you are watching, you will be alone. Although your elf friend, and he looks in the direction of Esther, who is just sat cross-legged off to one side. In your time knowing her, you've understood that elves don't need to sleep. in the same way that the rest of you do. They simply go into a deep meditative trance, still conscious of the world around them, and to all intents and purposes alert, but simply resting mentally. So, I'll be asleep. Ayleen is clear out of it, but if you need a shout, we'll wake, okay?
Okay, I'll watch out.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah, I don't really like it here. It's a little disgusting. This swamp is not really where I want to be right now. But you know, sometimes if you want to be a hero, you have to sacrifice.
And if you want to get paid for a job as well.
Yes, and we want the money at the end of the day.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Well, I'll see you in the morning. Hopefully with... Yeah?
How much money do you have?
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion? 2?
He just... One day you might find out. But for now, my lips are sealed.
Okay, that means that I have more.
I'll see
Bye,
you in
Meg.
the morning. Good night. And
Good
with that, he
night.
disappears into one of the tents, leaving you alone on watch.
I
Can
like
you
being alone.
Can you make a perception check for me?
Perception. 13.
Okay. So over the course of your watch, you sit in the darkness and you look out all around. You look at the cart and the black box on its back. You look at your friends, Ayleen, unconscious, Mank sleeping, Ester meditating, and lying on top of her crossed legs, Dog just... And
Oh.
as you look all around at the mist in the distance, you see just above you a couple of birds just land on the tree above. A number of ravens, by the looks of it, just settling down, just and looking down at you, just...
Don't look at me. Shoo.
And they fly off the branches and off into the distance. And in the distance, in the mist, in the darkness, every so often, here and there, over the course of your watch, you swear you see shapes moving. Almost imperceptible, but maybe a trick of the moonlight, but there may be something out there. But your watch comes to an end without much incident.
Is the fire still on?
Fire is still burning off to one side, its embers just lighting and casting a soft orangey glow, the small island of colour in this otherwise grey, dreary and barren landscape.
I don't like this. Do I recognize any of the shapes? Can I make it out from if I'm imagining this because I'm traumatized by the monsters, or is it actually real what I'm seeing?
Make a wisdom saving throw for me. Or just a wisdom check, actually, sorry.
Wisdom 16.
You look out, and while you cannot really make out what the shapes are, They are definitely not imagined.
Oh. How long do I have till my watch ends?
These shapes have been happening throughout, but you are coming to the end of your watch now.
I want to take a sip of rum. Everything's fine. Don't worry, girl. We're gonna be okay. Right, Jerry? How is Jerry in all of this?
He seems okay. He's just sat there, just...
He doesn't see anything. Yeah. Everything's fine. I'm getting nervous.
So-
I'm rocking like back and forth, like looking into the mist.
So as your watch comes to an end, are you waking anyone?
I tried to avoid Ayleen. Ester and Dog.
So Esther, as you sit there meditating, you don't even need to be shaken from your slumber as you just sense Hazel approaching.
Hello.
Hey, Esther.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you have a good time?
No, not really. I think maybe the rum is getting to me, or there's like things in the mist. I saw shapes moving. I can't make sense
Okay.
of it.
Okay. I'll try to look myself and see if I can see something.
Make a perception check for me.
22.
So in the mist, looking out, you look in the direction that Hazel pointed, and initially you see nothing. And then out of the corner of your eye, you see movement. And then out of the other corner, and around, you see all around this island of rock, shapes slowly moving in, tall silhouettes, and they are getting closer.
I don't think this is very good.
You see anything?
It's not your talking. It's
You see
things.
something?
Yes, things.
What
are
do you
coming
see? Coming? What? Where?
towards us. Those tall thingies. I don't know what they are. I can't say. They are tall.
As you're having this
Ayleen?
conversation, from out of the mist, you just hear a
Oh god. Okay.
echoing out.
I think we have to move. I think we need to go.
Can we wake everyone up? Up,
Yeah.
up. I slapped him in the
Alright.
face.
Okay. Ayleen!
What?
There's things in the mist. Be careful.
What?
Hush.
Esther goes to Mac. Mac!
What is it?
There's things in the mist coming. I don't know. We need to go.
Right. Okay. And he just comes out of the tent, and as you all start to peek out of your coverings, the shapes in the mist become clearer. Almost impossibly tall creatures moving forward with long hide robes and sharp bones hanging off them, clinking like chimes in the breeze. And where heads should be, you instead see giant bird skulls, each of them daubed in red blood, as they just move through the mist, long limbs stretching down to the wet ground around them. And then once again, and they are all around you, moving in closer and closer.
Guys, do we just go? Just drive?
I don't know if there's anywhere we can drive to.
Forward.
Drive over them. I don't
Yeah,
care. Let's
drive
get
over
out of
them.
here.
We're surrounded, guys.
Drive over them.
All right, everyone,
Hop on the cart.
pack up what you can, get on the car. So what is everyone doing?
I'm not packing anything. I'm grabbing Hazel.
As
I'm grabbing Hazel.
Okay, can you make contesting strength checks for me, please?
Here we go again.
It always comes down to this with you two. So as Hazel rushes forward, Ayleen, you just bring your arm around her chest and just bring her up, bringing her feet off the ground as they just like run in midair, and you just bring her up. And Mank turns around. What do we do? We don't have time for this.
I'm just tossing her on the well, not tossing. I'm just climbing on the cart with it. Was this the plan?
And Esther, as this is happening, you look at the creatures approaching, and you see them a little bit clearer. And you see that they are not creatures at all, but they are humans. Humans wading through the marshes on stilts, their bone-white masks obscuring their features, and from underneath their long robes, wicked, curved-looking weapons stretch out as they just move forward, moving through the mist, their long wooden stilts just squelching through the mud as they just move closer.
Esther grabs the dog and chucks him on the wagon, and then just hops up right away.
As you do so, and as you all jump on top of it, and Manx starts to pull the cart around, the figures all around you stop. And one of them just raises a large curved sickle up in the sky. And the rest of them just stop. They're living.
What?
What?
Who are you?
Oh, thank
You're
goodness.
human.
We're mere adventurers. Hello? I'm Ayleen from the Order of Dawn.
And one of the bird skulls just looks in your direction. What are you doing so far north?
We're on a mission. Mercenaries.
What is your mission?
That is our own. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you.
You are in our lands.
We're sorry, we're just passing through.
Wait, you live here? There's a town here? Are we welcome to stay?
Any towns that were here died a long time ago. As a member of the Order, you should perhaps brush up on your history.
I know, but I didn't expect people to be here, and yet here you are, so I don't know what we missed, but there must be a place where you stay, right? We go there, we are tired. We have gold.
There is a murmur from around the circle, and the one that has been speaking just looks towards the others, and they all silence. And then, moving forward, wading out of the marshes, towering above you on these tall stilts, and you can see that the limbs themselves are long and wooden, towering above you with long hide robes just draped down to the floor. This strange, bone-masked individual just looks down at you all. So, you are so desperate to move so far north that you would pay to throw your lives away.
What?
We're adventurers, of course.
We've not seen a member of the Order for a very long time.
And I'm pretty sure that you have not seen a lot of living in a very long time. Not just the Order. Because rest assured, we are not aware of your existence. I thought this was deserted, that there were only creatures here. We all did.
We are the lost and the forgotten.
Why are you not traveling south?
We have no home there.
And where's your home here? Can we go there?
The individual cocks their head. Before you see the long limbs just slowly disappear up into the cloak. And there is a strange hooking sound from beneath it until the cloak parts and two very pale human limbs come out. One ends in a hand, whereas the other ends in a prosthetic, a sickle that is screwed into place. And the one hand just brings the bird mask up. And you see a human. Pale, freckled, lined skin, probably around their 50s. And they have short, wild orange hair and stormy grey eyes. And they just look at you. We are the Barrakin.
The who?
You live in the Barrow Woods.
We do.
Wow.
Why?
I lived in the woods. It's, you know, it has its perks to live in the woods. So.
Not the ones here. Not since Glendale fell.
But why are you living here?
It is not safe out here. If we are to exchange stories with one another. Because I'm sure you have one too. You
Is
asked
he
where we
human?
live. We are human, yes.
All of you.
Some dwarves, some elves.
Let's get to safety first, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no safety this far north.
Well,
Well-
then let's go to wherever it is that you feel safer. Or?
Yeah.
They just reach up and pull the bird mask back down over their face. And once more you hear that unhooking sound from underneath. And you see the long limbs extend once more as they just start to stalk forward, almost on four legs, just moving over the rocks and looking in the direction of north before they look over their shoulder towards you. Whatever your reason for coming here, you made a mistake.
So does that mean we're not allowed to follow you, or?
You may follow.
Thank you.
Just do not believe that we can keep you safe.
We do not need your protection, thank you.
We'll keep you safe.
True.
You do not know true horror. And with that, they just move off the top of the rock and into the swamps as the circle all around you begins to follow them. Their beaked forms just moving forward, stalking through on large stilts and large limbs, just moving with a strange grace over the murky land, expecting you to follow.
I would look at Mank.
You sure know how to pick friends, don't you?
What do you mean? What was I supposed to say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
If they are survivors of Glendale, they've been through far more than we can imagine.
They seem okay.
Oh yeah, they seem lovely.
They're fine, they're just humans. We fought a giant.
True.
You've also fought witch hunters, which I need not remind you, we're also human.
Oh.
Do you think
But
we should
these people
stay?
are not witch hunters. What? You think they're witch hunters?
All I'm saying is, don't be so quick to trust.
I mean, if they wanted to kill us, they could have.
True. Seem friendly.
They seemed reasonable. No?
Yes?
That may be. For now. Maybe
Let's
keep
just-
that.
Yeah, let's stay on their good side, maybe. I feel like. Yeah.
We can all be friends.
I don't know why you're so eager to widen your circle of friends. And he starts to, as the cart moves off, and he just turns to you and the more friends you have, the more people you have to lose.
And the more people that can pick you up from the ground when you're unconscious in the mud.
Touche. And the cart rumbles off into the mists, following the Barrowkin as they make their way north. And that is where we're going to end this week's session.
Nice.
But we will be back not next week, unfortunately, because I am moving. I am moving house. And so we will be back in 2 weeks' time. We will be taking a break. But when we are back, we will be delving into the history of the Barrowkin and the fall of Glendale and what that means for our heroes going forward. But in the meantime, we're going to miss you so much. And would everyone like to go around and plug what it is they're working on at the moment? So, Arianna.
Yes. Hello. It's Arianna, and as usual, I have something cool tomorrow again, because every Friday I invite guests to my stream, and tomorrow we're going to be playing Never Have I Ever Streamer Edition, so it's very fun. If you're not into that kind of stuff, then I stream almost every other day except for the Saturday. With gaming, I'm really into World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV lately, so I see a lot of that. Yeah, that's me. !Arianna in the chat if you want to follow me, and if you want to hang out next time, that'd be super cool. I'm on Sunday. I have my own stream again, and if you come from here, let me know so we can all hype you up in my chat. That's it.
And Elina.
Right now you see it's getting really dark here. I'm in my cabin in the north, so this week there's gonna be maybe like one IRL stream, but then not a lot. But I'll be back on Monday as usual. Twitch.tv/Elina. Otherwise, I do a lot of art as well. I have an art account, and you can find it on my Twitter. So I just released some new art, and I'm still do regular art, and that's what I do.
And Glosske.
Yeah, so tomorrow it's finally happening. After 2 years, I'm going to the Netherlands.
Woohoo!
Hey!
Hey!
Finally. So
Woo!
I'm not streaming. I'm just enjoying life. So that's what I'll be doing. But I am always in the Discord. So if you want to just chat and whatever, I'm always there.
And I'm Ed. I am currently GMing for only one other thing, which is definitely a record. I'm usually juggling far more, but I am moving, which is happening majority of next week. But I am also currently GMing for Stories Told, which have alumni of this particular campaign, Harley and Hannah. I'm currently GMing both of them in a Good Society campaign. We're halfway through. It's basically a Jane Austen role-playing game, and the last episode was maybe one of the most chaotic couple of hours that I have ever spent running anything ever. But you can find that over on their Twitch channel. Outside of that, I have some other very exciting news to announce soon, but it's still under wraps for now. So I'll just tease you all with that over the next couple of weeks. But that's everything from me. I believe that's everything from us. It's such a joy doing this week in and week out for all of you. And honestly, after this episode, I'm so sad we're going to be taking a break next week. But we will be back in full force the week after next with more about the history of Mournveil and more chaos from our characters. Now with a pet dog, which I wasn't anticipating. So the faith of the gods, you giveth and you taketh away. But you have gifted them a small wolf puppy. So
thank you.
We will see how that transpires. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay well. We love you so very much, and we will see you very soon. Goodbye.